Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Was hoping to be able the premise behind having today's press conference was to hopefully release an exhibition game that I think Jeff already ran a story on, and Van had hit me up on, and a few people have kind of said some stuff on the internet about a possible exhibition game. It has not been completely approved. Unfortunately, I have to get on a bus here in a little bit because we have a scrimmage tomorrow, and I'm going to hit the road. So I would have liked to have maybe held this press conference off a couple more hours to be able to give definitive information on the scrimmage. But we are under the impression it is heading towards getting done. The NCAA has asked us for some follow-up paperwork that I don't think they would be asking unless they were going to approve. Obviously, an extremely exciting event for our program if it does happen to materialize. Bringing BYU back here for a cause like Hurricane Harvey, I think will be fun for all of us involved and also worthy as well. So I won't give really much details on it. We do have a press release kind of ready to roll. So as soon as we get definitive word, we'll be able to kind of share information with regards to ticket prices and how the game itself is going to be set up. It will be an exhibition game. There will be some hopefully different things for season ticket holders we are going to provide. I initially had a season ticket holder only function scheduled for Saturday, and when this opportunity for this game came up, we'll probably flip something into this game to provide for them as well. Really want to try and make sure our season ticket holders don't get forgotten in all of this. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Eric Schultz of compliance has been working really hard on this. I know he's been in the newspaper a little bit here lately, but it's probably more me than anything Eric. Eric does an amazing job in our compliance office. We did receive word that the high school practices we had initially scheduled, we can reschedule during the competitive season. So we are currently kind of working with those schools to reschedule those practices to be able to still follow through on them. And Eric obviously has worked really hard on that as well, and I'm really thankful for all the work he's put in. If any stuff comes up, whether it's this game or the high school practices, I know there's some stuff maybe being written about our compliance office or other things of that nature, but it's really probably just me pushing the envelope on a lot of things and maybe just being a little brash in that regard. And I'll take all responsibility for anything that maybe hasn't gone properly. I think Eric's done a really good job on that. So also have to thank our athletic department. Eddie has been really good, and all the support staff around Eddie has worked really hard over the last 2 or 3 days to try and get this exhibition game off the ground or possible exhibition game. And they've all been tremendous. So I think right now the intent would be to play on Friday the 27th, and we're just working through getting approval on that. If not, then the game will likely be on the 28th. I guess there is still a small chance the game doesn't go ahead, but I think at this point, from everything we've received, the game should be on. So I would have liked to have given you a lot more specific information, but unfortunately, I got to get on a bus here in a little bit, and so that's just kind of what I have at this point. I did talk a little bit about the high school practices. And we are scrimmaging this weekend. This will be our first opportunity to go against somebody else, which I'm looking really forward to. I think our players are as well. We've practiced a lot against each other, and when you play the style that we're trying to play, it's really difficult to mimic, other people and how they may play, both on offense and on defense. And quite frankly, we don't have the time right now to spend practicing in any other way or against any other style. So we've really just gone all in on us trying to grow offensively and defensively on how we want to play and not how that style may match up against another style. And with 2 closed-door scrimmages, I really wasn't worried about how things were going to kind of go to outsiders or people that may start to observe or judge or even scout our team. The BYU game obviously changes that, but I think the gravity of that game, both basketball-wise and just community service-wise, was just too great of an opportunity to pass up for our program. Practices are going really well. Everybody is still healthy. We do have some bumps and bruises, but nothing significant in nature. Our practice count is up. We have a very good practice count number at this point compared to teams I've coached in the past, and even the teams that have been here in the past. So I feel really good about the work we've put in. I think we're in our learning curve and our style of play. We still have a long way to go, but I feel good about our workload to kind of get there. And that's really about it on kind of state of the program. I'll answer any questions if anybody has any.
Jaquan Vance playing the exhibitions and scrimmages?
Jaquan Vance cannot play, no.
Is that the team rule? Or
NCAA.
I thought is that a new rule?
Transfers?
I thought transfers and exhibitions and scrimmages in the past were allowed.
No. We asked.
Okay.
Whose idea was that's a great idea.
You know, to be totally honest, I woke up and I forget what morning it was, and I had several text messages from coaches that started reaching out to each other. This probably would have been, Monday or Tuesday of this week, and coaches around the country started realizing we can play an extra game, and this was feasible. And had discussions with a lot of programs kind of around our region. We needed one that fit our date because we're scrimmaging obviously this weekend, and we're scrimmaging the weekend before the season starts. So we really only had that weekend of the 28th available. So just started communicating with programs, who's available this weekend, who would want to play, who would make sense. We got down the road with some schools, but when BYU became available and they were willing to come here and the date matched up, it was like, man, this is a home run. So, I spoke with Coach Rose a few times. He's really excited about it. Houston, means a lot to him, and that's the charity that we will be looking to donate to if this ends up materializing. And I think just the history of our rivalry would be a really cool deal for the fans and help us kick off the season. Basketball-wise, I had never really planned on this game, so we're on our own curve, and that won't change just for this game, but it does probably change a little bit as far as what we're going to be showing and not showing to teams in the public. But like I said, the opportunity to do this game was much greater than that.
Since you guys have established that, do you think you see them on the schedule in the future?
I would love that, no question. And me and Coach Rose really haven't gotten into that. We've really just been trying to hammer out the logistics of this game. But I'm hopeful any team from either the old Mountain West or old WAC or whatever it happens to be, I think any good rivalries for our program are good. They're not only good for the fans, but they're good for us.
How advantageous is that extra game that you found out you can't do?
Great, yeah. Like I said, right now we had 2 scrimmages. That's the way we wanted to do them. We moved them from exhibitions to scrimmages because I thought we got a lot out of it. And when we first started talking about the idea of this charity game, we kind of put the threshold at making sure it was a very competitive team. I didn't want to do the game just to do the game. And maybe not have an opponent that I felt we got something out of it from a basketball perspective. Charity-wise, I don't know how well that would have pushed, or moved the needle there either. So to get a quality opponent that would not only increase, the revenue production, which would eventually help our contribution, but also our program. And this was a team that kind of fit both those, so it was a good fit.
What are you looking for in these scrimmages this weekend? What are you looking for?
Yeah, really it's just finally get to play somebody else and try to evaluate where we're at. And that's the beauty of these games going forward is we're going to play, 3 teams before the season starts if the BYU game works out, where we get to just try what we do on somebody else who isn't going to do what we do. So I think there'll be great learning experiences. Like I said, it's really hard amongst ourselves. And, as the season goes on, we'll probably develop practice styles to maybe mimic or work on how an opponent would play. So an opponent plays this way, let's practice this way for the next 15, 20 minutes, or let's put these 5 players over here and they're going to practice or play the way so-and-so's teams play or whatever. We just haven't had the time to do that because we're just trying to improve at what we do. So finally getting a chance to do that live in a scenario will be very helpful for us. And to do it against potentially an opponent like BYU at home is it's priceless. It's a tremendous advantage for us.
You obviously last year were at the conference tournament in Las Vegas. You know how popular a destination is like that. Do you have any thoughts on the potential of now the Mountain West Conference tournament a couple years down the line moving to somewhere else other than Las Vegas?
I heard about that. That was the first time I'd ever really it's been brought up to me, or the first time I'd ever really kind of thought about it. I don't really know. There's a lot of more experienced coaches in this league that are on committees to talk about those things, and I probably haven't spent enough time or researched it enough to give you a great answer on that. Wherever it goes, we'll just go and play and try and be the best we can.
You keeping where you got a scrimmage, and you keeping that private? Or?
Yeah, the scrimmages are closed to the public.
Who the teams are? Or?
I don't know if I'm allowed to release who those are. The rule may have changed, but I don't want to get Eric in any more trouble than I've already got him.
Are you planning to release information after the fact, though? 'Cause that was a rule that changed last year.
Yeah, see, I don't know exactly the latest on that rule, but whatever it is, we'll do what we think we can do, what's best for us within whatever's reasonable.
Anybody's really playing well as far as standing out? Or, I know
We have a few, and we talk about it. It changes day to day. It changes minute to minute in practice, and I want every single player on this team to feel as though that minutes are up for grabs and they really have a chance to earn those minutes. I want it to be a true meritocracy when it comes to that. I don't want anyone on this team to feel as though they're getting handed something, or I'm giving them something, or it's how old they are or where they're from or anything like that. The best guys have to go out and earn the best minutes, and it changes. And the 5 potential starters right now are different than they were a week ago, and I hope it's a different week from now, as every day these guys are very competitive with each other. And if we played tonight and rolled out who I would suspect the best 5 to be, I think a lot of people would potentially be surprised.
You're two freshmen. You're both foreign
Yep.
athletes, and do you feel like you've coached other foreign athletes probably, but is it harder for them since they played international rules maybe in their countries and they're traveling a long way? So
Yep.
these guys, is it harder for them to learn the game and to get acclimated compared to somebody that's from the United States?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. There's a lot that goes into it. I've obviously coached a lot of international players. I think there's some parts that you mentioned where difficulties do arise, but I think there's also some things with international players where they actually have an advantage on players potentially from domestically. And I'm not here to judge domestic players by any means, but there are times that the way they've been raised, the way they've been coached, and maybe our culture don't always align themselves with team and unselfishness and work ethic and all the things that you want to be about. And by and large, a lot of international student athletes are just so thankful to be here. They're going to do whatever it is you ask them to do at any point in time. And a lot of that is healthy. And that to me, every kid is different. And again, I don't want to stereotype either foreign players or domestic players, but they do have some advantages usually that allow them to either catch up quickly or merge in different ways better than maybe a domestic kid would not.
Anything else?
Good to go? Thank you.